Going 8 months after being sent home, retrenched Transport Board workers are getting the remainder of their severance payments and an apology from their former employer. This is the latest development since the workers were sent home in February and paid some of their severance in late August. Transport Board General Manager Sandra Ford has announced that they are ready to pay the rest of the funds.
The management of the Transport Board is now in a position to pay the recently separated employees their outstanding severance payments. I want to apologize for the length of time this process has taken. I felt their pain and was in regular contact with the relevant agencies to ensure that they receive their outstanding monies as soon as possible. I want to thank them for their patience and advise them that the HR department will be contacting them on Monday, October the 20th, to finalize this outstanding matter, and I want to wish them well in their future endeavors.
Sir Roy Trotman is still the man to lead United Commercial Auto Works Limited. This is the word from Deputy Chairman Hilford Murrell, who met with employees of the company today and obtained their commitment to end their 4-day strike. Mr. Murrell told CBC News calls for Sir Roy to step down were made out of frustration at the way some of the workers felt they were being treated.
I think at today's meeting I was able to get that matter dismissed, and I'm sure that they are aware that the company has a lot of work to do, especially in these trying economic circumstances, and that Sir Roy, with his experience and exposure, is probably the only one that will be able to guide us through these difficult situations, because he has the experience as a leader of a trade union and then a leader of this company, and his association with the working class people is probably more than most of us.
Mr. Murrell says the strike action was taken because the workers wanted assurances from the board about guaranteed work and back pay. He said it took a number of meetings to convince them to return to the job.
And I had a long discussion with them yesterday, and they were adamant that they weren't going back to work until they received some written confirmation that work would be given to them on a sustained basis. I had a meeting again with them today, and I explained to them that whilst we understood their grievances, that they had a duty to do work so that it could not be said that they were given work and did not do it. And I think is that was the basis on which they went back out to work today.
Digicel Barbados has issued an apology after pornographic video was streamed on one of its store's monitors. Video of that material on the store's monitor was recorded and circulated on social media. Marketing executive Randy Howard tells CBC News the videos and photographs were captured after hours, but that a thorough investigation is being carried out.
The screens in our stores are controlled by an external supplier. So we are liaising with that supplier currently to figure out where the problem actually originated, whether it was a hack of the system, whether it was user error, whether it was somebody within the organization who may have been doing something in the background. We're not sure as yet. So we're trying to figure that out with the supplier, and once we know that, then we can give a further indication of what has happened.
The effects of the economic recession are proving to be a driver for a more robust and creative form of marketing among Barbadian businesses, especially at the grassroots level. This is the view of Chief Executive Officer of Starchick Limited, Wendell Clark, who says the climate has seen some unemployed people coming into the egg retail business. He says as a result, competition has been stiff. This, he adds, has reduced consumer prices significantly. Mr. Clark made the comment as he, along with Starchick mascot Eggsy, host Charlene Brown of the Eggonomics Show and other officials, toured the Challoner School distributing crates of fresh eggs as part of the World Food Day celebrations.
There have been some drop-off in some prices. Again, competition normally causes that, more players. Recently also, because of the economic, more people have lost their jobs and more people have come into the industry. A form of way of employing themselves. So the greater the competition, when you get competition, you get prices dropping from 10%. Yeah, so better for the consumer.
Mr. Clark says eggs have always been part of the diet for many Barbadians, and he is pleased with the response towards the commodity. The Chief Executive Officer of Starchick says Barbados continues to be self-sufficient in egg production with a high collection of quality birds in stock. He says they are now preparing for the Christmas season.
The capacity of hens, in which we have what we call, for things we run approximately 50,000 layers for our capacity, you know. So that should give us an idea of what we can produce on a daily basis. But it goes up and down. We're now looking to reach a peak maybe around December.
Productive. That's how the National Union of Public Workers has described its meeting with management of the Barbados Community College. The two parties met yesterday at the BCC after several weeks of wrangling over what the union perceived as moves by the college to cut staff. NUPW Senior Industrial Relations Officer Wayne Warren tells CBC one of the major outcomes was a decision to retain a long-standing employee who would otherwise have been out of a job. He adds that they will resume discussions on Friday afternoon at 2. Mr. Warren says that at that time they will intend to explore more cost-cutting measures and address clauses in the contracts of part-time tutors which they deem offensive. He also says the union looks forward to working closely and having open communication with the BCC to avoid any breakdown in industrial relations. As you heard, today is World Food Day, and small farmers are being recognized for their contribution to food security. As Barbados joins with others across the globe in observing the occasion, Minister of Agriculture Dr. David Estwick says the rapid surge of farmers' markets in recent times indicates the high level of production. World Food Day 2014 is being celebrated under the theme Family Farming, Feeding the World, Caring for Earth. The theme serves to highlight the profile of family farming and small farmers. Dr. Estwick says his ministry has provided a number of easily accessible incentives for family farmers. An agriculture official wants Barbadians to pay close attention to food consumption and food security. This from ICA's representative Ina Harvey, who was speaking as Barbados joined the world in celebrating World Food Day. She says this year's theme is important.
Food security is an issue, but there is very much an issue of distribution of food. And in some places you have nutrition insecurity, other places you have people eating too much. The other side of the nutrition insecurity. So the advice I would always give is that we remember the lessons of our past, where family farms cared for the environment and fed a lot of us in the community. And let us not forget our lessons of the past. Let us not ignore what is going on in our communities. And the heroes of our communities, our farmers, our fisher folk.
Residents of Coach Hill and Haynes Hill, St. John, are asking the authorities to intervene and assist with a mental patient who is causing stress in the district. They say the latest incident involving an elderly woman is the final straw. Lisa Lord went to that area to investigate their claims and filed this report.
After almost 5 years of reported unprovoked attacks, residents of Coach Hill and Haynes Hill say they have had enough of this young man terrorizing them. We have hidden his identity given the sensitive nature of the story. On Tuesday night, 92-year-old Ayanti Thompson, affectionately known as Mama, got the shock of her life as she was watching television.
When I was sitting down there watching TV, I hear something like a bullet hit the house. Not easy. It hit me really very hard. And when I looked, I went to the bedroom door and I peeped in the whole glass. There, the bottom one, not the top, the bottom one shackled. And I hollered for murder. And the people come, I see it.
Her granddaughter, Jacqueline Bishop O'Neill, says she too has had several encounters with the young man.
The police are actually trying, but Andre is being sent to the psychiatric hospital and then he is released comes back out and does the same thing over and over again.
Mrs. Bishop O'Neill's brother, Grantley, told us he actually had to have stitches following a face-to-face encounter with him.
The time I actually waiting for my sister for, and he might just take a cane and lash me in my mouth there, so. Which I had some stitches in and outside. Then the time he approached me in my backyard, then my man could treat me to rock and run. And I come about Saturday in the morning, I think last week, and for him, he went to liquor, which I know he did it. Last time I saw him was Sunday, and some boy throwing a rock and a long piece of steel in his hand. I think we need to do something about him.
But consultant psychiatrist Dr. Ermin Bell, while not commenting specifically on the young man's case, says it is not that easy to admit these patients. Dr. Bell says the rights of these patients must never be violated, and they have to follow strict criteria as set out under the Mental Health Act.
So if he has been admitted, it would have to be either that he was voluntary, and based on what you've told me, I doubt that he is somebody who is a voluntary patient. He would have to be medically recommended, which means that a relative and 2 doctors, one of whom has to be working outside of this institution, would have to sign him in, saying that he's in need of help. And he could also come through the court, where the court would order him here for observation and sometimes for treatment, depending on the case that he's associated with.
In the meantime, these 2 residents simply want to see the young man institutionalized.
You just see something done with him from in district.
He's a pest right now. He stole from my shop, put his hand through the vendor and stole my stuff. I made a report to the police, never heard anything else about it. So I don't know what's going on with that case. I know he has changed from stealing from my shop to the other shop up there, and he's terrorizing everybody in the district.
What do you want to see done with him?
I think he should be put up. He needs to be put up from the district, because right now he is terrorizing the young and the old, and a 92-year-old lady at that. That's not right.
Lisa Lord, CBC News.
More news ahead in just a moment, but first, we'd like to hear from you on this question. Should Barbados set aside by law a portion of its lands for the growing of food? Text yes or no to the short code 8111. We'll share the results at the end of the news.
Dear Clark, I've made a fascinating discovery. The institutional water cooler. Its gravitational pull sucks people from their workstations at the busiest times of day to stand around it and chat about emerging global trends like, will pink be in fashion next season? Meanwhile, the world slows to a stop as it waits in line to be served. I don't see that trend at Globe Finance.
Globe Finance. Think outside the bank.
When it comes to their financial service, slow is out, swift is in.
It's not often that research and technology combine to create an innovation that revolutionizes an industry. Introducing Ultima Plus from Harris Paints, combining not 1 but 5 new problem-solving technologies in one can.
Cover Fast technology gives you brighter colors in fewer coats.
Self-prime technology means no primer over most surfaces.
Easy Breathe technology gives a better air quality and lower odor.
Mildew Guard technology keeps colors fresh by resisting fungus growth for longer.
Color Last technology makes your color stronger and more resistant to fading.
Best by test and quality, Ultima Plus can be tinted to any color or custom matched to the exact perfect shade. Thousands of colors, 5 new technologies, all in one can. Only from Harris Paints, the Caribbean champions of color. Ultima Plus, your ultimate paint solution.
Available at dealers island-wide.
Community Files. Show your national pride and enter the Mini Parks and Garden competition this Independence. Applications must be in by Friday, October 31st. The contest is scheduled to begin during the second week of November. Call the Community Independence Celebration Secretariat at 621-2700 for more information.
The region faces two main challenges relating to climate change. These are, according to Finance Minister Chris Sinclair, being able to put climate change risk into national development planning and climate change adaptation into disaster risk management. He says there's also the issue of accessing the financing to ensure these goals can be achieved. Minister Sinclair was speaking at the meeting of the board of the Green Climate Fund being held for the first time in Barbados at the Hilton Hotel.
With the limited fiscal space facing governments in the developing world, and especially for us here in the Caribbean, there is much support required for enhancing institutional and technical capacities to design innovative policies and sustainable adaptation programs. In addition, we need to be able to have a portfolio of bankable projects eligible for funding under the Green Climate Fund, which must be able to execute quickly and effectively. So therefore, it is important that we engage you, that you engage us, and that we build a common partnership towards achieving those results.
Minister Sinclair told the meeting the survival of many countries depends on the success of the Green Climate Fund, which is expected to be set up and running within the next month.
We believe that the fund should be fair, accessible, flexible, and country-driven while being impactful and transformational. And of course that calls for bold interventions and bold but also quick actions. I am fully aware that this board meeting comes at a very crucial point in the time of the fund. For the initial resource mobilization process, scheduled to complete its work just 1 month from now, is absolutely critical as a signpost to the early success and viability of this fund.
Government is moving to make it easier for doctors to report diseases to the Ministry of Health. Health Minister John Boyce says the current system will be changed and computerized.
There is a system in place now, but by our own admission, it is a system which involves the movement of a lot of paperwork. I believe that at this time we can quickly develop a system that can see us getting more electronic data system that would see us, which we can get information into the ministry quickly about the reportable diseases, because not only chikungunya, there are other diseases, of course, which are to be reported to the ministry.
The Barbados Defence Force is looking to revamp its Small Operations Theatre. Chief of Staff of the BDF, Colonel Alvin Quinton, says funding is currently being sought to get the facility operating again. The last estimate given 5 years ago was in the region of $70,000.
Again, however that facility may be used to support the national health system, we will be more than willing to do so. And I must say to you as well that we have embarked on a program of revenue generation, not only in the medical facility. This facility you're sitting in here right now is rented out, and some of the proceeds from those rentals go towards maintaining places like the same hyperbaric chamber and so on.
Close to 50 children from the Pine, Wildy and surrounding communities are the beneficiaries of free common entrance lessons. This comes as the Pinelands Creative Workshop, Parkinson Memorial School, Aries Technology and MCTV have partnered for a 1-year 11+ preparation project entitled Youth Beyond Expectation. During the 2-hour sessions, students will be exposed to free classes at the Parkinson Memorial in mathematics and language arts. Special Projects Coordinator with the Pinelands Creative Workshop, Sophia Graves-Brooms, explained the project was created to assist the students.
We also must be honest. Our schools and our teachers cannot do it between 9 and 3 o'clock. It has to be a collective or a participatory approach where parents, teachers, the community, private, public sector, CSOs have to be involved.
Well, during the launch, the students were presented with Discovery Kids backpacks from MCTV. Customer service representative Nicole Batiste encouraged the students to give of their best.
We at MCTV see you as the future leaders of Barbados, and we urge you to always strive for the best. Remember this, the 11+ examination signifies the end of one journey, but it is also the beginning of your next adventure. And we hope that you will see and take the guidance and information given to you through this program with you as you go forward in your academic life.
Regional news next, but first a reminder, we will want to hear from you on this question. Should Barbados set aside by law a portion of its lands for the growing of food?